All right, welcome back. In part 1, we really dug into the why of the Wyckoff method. Today, we're getting our hands dirty with the how. We're going to peel back the layers and look at the actual blueprints, the schematics, that big-time players use to map out their trades. This is where it all gets real.
So yeah, in our last explainer, we covered the core laws, the philosophy. Now we're taking that crucial next step. We're breaking down the visual patterns that literally signal when large interests, the smart money, are getting ready for a huge market move.
Here's our game plan for today. We'll start by dissecting the two main blueprints: accumulation, which is all about building a position, and distribution, which is how they sell it off. After that, we'll look at a few common variations, because it's not always textbook, and then we'll wrap it all up with an actionable framework you can actually put to use. Okay, first up, accumulation. You can think of this as the market's covert operation. It's the story of how the composite man quietly and methodically builds a massive position without setting off any alarms. Let's break down exactly how they do it.
Every single accumulation phase starts with a sudden stop. In Phase A, a nasty downtrend that's been hammering the market finally slams into a brick wall. The panic selling is hitting its peak, and that's the precise moment the smart money decides to step in.
So look at these key events. First, you get the selling climax, the SC. This is pure, unadulterated fear. Everyone is dumping their shares. But who's on the other side of that trade? The institutions. They're absorbing it all. That violent stop is followed by an automatic rally, the AR. That's the market's first gasp for air, and it sets the ceiling of our new trading range. Just like that, the battle lines are drawn.
And now we enter Phase B. This is the part that drives most traders absolutely nuts. It's this long, grinding, sideways action that feels like it's going nowhere. But nothing could be further from the truth. This is where the cause is being built for the next major effect. While everyone else is getting bored, the composite man is patiently buying.
The big idea to grab here is this. What looks like complete chaos to the average person is actually a very deliberate, organized campaign of accumulation. The big players are buying the dips and selling into the small rallies, all inside this range, to scoop up as many shares as they can without showing their hand. All right, so after all that quiet buying in Phase B, it's time for the final, masterful act of deception. This is Phase C. This is the part of the schematic that is designed to fool almost everyone. The composite man is about to play their ace.
And this is it, the spring. It's the ultimate bear trap. It's engineered to look like a total breakdown of support. It triggers all the stop losses. It makes the last few nervous holders panic and sell. But for the composite man, it's the final fire sale. It's one last chance to load up on cheap shares right before the launch.
Now, right after that successful test in Phase C, we get our confirmation. We enter Phase D. And here, the whole character of the market just changes. You can feel it. For the very first time, demand is clearly, obviously in charge.
And this is how you see that shift in power. You start seeing these strong, energetic moves up. We call that a sign of strength, or SOS. And then just as important, the pullbacks are weak. They're shallow, they happen on low volume. That's the last point of supply, or LPS. It's the market telling you that the sellers are exhausted. That LPS is often your golden ticket, the best spot to find an entry.
And finally, we get to Phase E, the markup. The job is done, the accumulation is complete, demand has total control, and the price blasts out of that long trading range, kicking off a brand new uptrend that is now plain for everyone to see. So we've just seen how the smart money gets in, but what about getting out? Well, that's what distribution is all about. It's the perfect mirror image of accumulation, and it's the process institutions use to unload their massive positions onto an unsuspecting public right at the market top. And just like accumulation started by stopping a downtrend, distribution starts in Phase A by stopping a powerful uptrend. All that upward momentum that felt like it would go on forever, it finally hits a massive wall of selling. See the symmetry here? It's beautiful. The buying climax, or BC, is the polar opposite of the selling climax. This is peak euphoria. The news is amazing. Everyone's jumping in. And that is the exact moment the smart money begins to hit the sell button, feeding shares into that buying frenzy. The sell-off that follows, the automatic reaction, then defines the floor of our new distribution range. Now we're in Phase B of distribution, and the roles are completely reversed. The institutions are now net sellers. Their main goal is to sell as many shares as they can at these high prices, systematically soaking up any remaining buying pressure in the market.
And here's the change in behavior you need to watch for. Rallies are weak. They might pop above resistance for a minute. That's called an upthrust, but they can't hold it. They get stuffed right back down. On the flip side, the moves down, the signs of weakness, are powerful and decisive. The market is screaming at you that the balance of power has shifted to the sellers. And now for the final nail in the coffin. In Phase C, you often get a huge bull trap called an upthrust after distribution, or UTAD. It's the evil twin of the spring. It's a move that looks like a glorious breakout, but it's designed to suck in the last of the buyers right before the bottom falls out. Then in Phase D, the rallies are just pathetic. These last points of supply, or LPSYS, show that the buyers are totally out of ammo. The market is ready to tip over. Okay, this is really important to understand. While the principles of supply and demand are always the same, the way these schematics play out in the real world can vary. The market isn't always so neat and tidy. Let's look at the two main accumulation models to see what I mean. So on the left, you've got our old friend schematic number 1 with that classic spring we just talked about. But look over at the right, at schematic number 2. Notice something different? The lows in Phase C are actually higher than the lows back in Phase A. There's no spring. So what's that telling you? It tells you that the buyers are so strong, so aggressive, that they won't even let the price dip back down. This is often a sign of incredible underlying strength, and the move that follows can be even more powerful.
All right. This has all been fascinating, I know, but how do we actually use this stuff? How does this make us better traders? The absolute key is to stop thinking of Wyckoff as a crystal ball for predicting the future and start using it as the ultimate confirmation tool.
This simple 4-step process is a total game changer. It transforms you from someone who's just reacting to price to someone who's actively reading the market's intentions. You're no longer just buying at a support level and hoping for the best. You're waiting for the market to prove to you that the big players are active there too. It's a huge shift from trading on hope to trading on evidence.
And look at this chart of ExxonMobil just illustrates the whole thing perfectly. A larger area of demand was identified on a higher time frame. Then, as the price came into that zone, this beautiful textbook accumulation schematic formed. You can clearly see the selling climax in Phase A, that picture-perfect spring in Phase C, and the ideal last point of supply in Phase D, which was the green light to get in just before that huge markup phase took off.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that once you learn to identify these patterns, you're no longer just staring at random squiggles on a screen. You're actually starting to read the story of supply and demand. You're starting to understand the intentions of the market's most powerful players. You're learning to read the blueprint.